Yeah, it's about the bag with the triple single crew. We got Ronnie, Doc, Antonio, the real deal too. They coming and dropping knowledge, you know that they get to work. You know that triple single cover Bay Area sports. You know I'm coming hard, I don't feel like I'm in a hurry. Like number 30, I really got the range like Stephen Curry. Get a couple rings, you know.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Triple Single Crew. Make sure you follow us at TSC Bay Area on Twitter, Instagram, and make sure you subscribe and like the channel and ring that bell as well if you want a notification when we're on. Thank you so much again for joining us, guys. What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing today?
Pretty good, man. On my end, it's a beautiful day here in Northern California. Got a chance to spend a little time with my wife during lunch, and so can't
Nice.
complain.
Right on.
Man, just got back from a friend's house, just doing a bunch of, homework and all that. I'm ready to go. Ready to talk about what we're about to talk about today.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, Ronnie. And I like the jersey, man. I see you bringing it back.
I know that Chuck Jacobs.
Chuck Jacobs jersey,
Nice, man.
especially for the topic that we're going to talk about today. So,
Yeah, so let's get right to it. So it's definitely Niner related. So we want to talk about obviously the whole Jimmy G, as well as bringing in the general manager, John Lynch, and Kyle Shanahan. So our question to you today, and make sure you guys comment below, we love to hear from you, is are Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's futures tied to Jimmy G's success in the 2021 season? So what do you guys think? Ronnie, I'll let you kick it off because you got the red and gold on you already.
Yes, sir.
I think so. I believe Jimmy G's been with San Francisco, I believe, since 2017. And, I think that first year, he went 5-0, got the big contract. Then the second season, I believe, is towards ACL in Kansas City. And then he came back and he led them to the Super Bowl. We all know how that turned out. But I just believe, if it's either like, obviously for every team, it's a win or bust. I think San Francisco has a team to make it back and even win it. And so, I believe if they don't even make it or even win it this year, I believe that it does have to tie with, Jimmy G's success with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan.
For sure, for sure. What are you thinking on it, Doc?
Yeah, I think that's a really good take, Ronnie. I think for me, I'm on the same page. I do think that Jimmy G's success this season will have an impact on just whether Kyle and John are on the hot seat. And I think the reason why I'm feeling that way is because they've now have had almost four full years to like really evaluate Jimmy G as a quarterback, not just from a talent standpoint, but from also a durability standpoint. And also just really taking into account, like, is this the guy that's going to get us over the hump? Let's just say for the case of today's talk, Jimmy G wasn't the reason why we lost the Super Bowl. Maybe it was a combination of play calling. Maybe it was a combination of some tough calls that the refs didn't give us, like that hold on Bosa or the pass interference, the offensive pass interference on George Kittle. Let's just say that it wasn't Jimmy G, right? Let's say that hit he took to the head, right, which needs to be acknowledged, that didn't get a roughing the passer call in a really big moment, right? That from what I think I saw after that hit, I think he did not complete a pass. So who's to say he was even in the right state of mind to even be playing football at that time? But nonetheless, right, I think you are bringing back Trent Williams with a record-setting contract. You just signed Alex Max. You were able to get Jaquaski Tart, Quan Williams back. You were able to get Jason Ferret. You brought the big dogs back, and Bosa's coming back. You need to have the right guy behind center. And if you're trusting Jimmy G, then you need to take some accountability with what those results are. If we win it all, hey, then we'll celebrate John and Kyle, as they would be deserved to be celebrated. But if they don't, we do need to start asking, are they the guys to really lead this team back to where we want to go?
Yeah, and I agree with you in terms of the timetable too. I think most of the time when you look at these things, as far as rebuilds, we got there quicker than we were supposed to get there, right? I mean, we got there in year 3 of that rebuild was 2019, and Kyle and John signed on in 2017. So I agree in terms of the timetable. But the thing that I keep going back to is that I really believe that Kyle will be here longer than John. I do believe that narrative. John didn't come from the scouting world. He didn't come from the front office world. He's a former player, and then he worked in the booth for Fox. So I just think his tenure is a little more tenuous, right? Like he should be a little more nervous in terms of being on the hot seat than Kyle, even though they came in together. Kyle, I think, will be here 10 plus years. Do I think that you need to win? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course you need to win. He can't go 8-8, 7-9, and then sometimes get to the playoffs and then think that it's okay. Absolutely not. That won't cut it.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be given a way longer leash, because remember what happened right before Kyle was hired. It was just disaster after disaster after disaster after, Harbaugh was fired. So, and Harbaugh, again, for all the Niner fans, I know a lot of Niner fans love Harbaugh. I liked Harbaugh that he brought stability. But in terms of his X's and O's, I didn't like Harbaugh. In terms of managing a locker room and managing and how he managed and helped scout with his GM, I didn't like him either. Because remember, he wasn't helping Balky out, right? And so that's why those rosters started to kind of slowly, or actually pretty quickly, get really bad. So all this to say, yes, they're tied to Jimmy G, but we don't know what's going to happen to Jimmy G. Again, it's looking like Jimmy's going to start week 1. That's what it looks like today on March 24th.
Yeah.
But a lot can change between now and the draft in a month and 5 days, actually. So, we'll see. I'm still kind of, to me, it's a giant question mark. But let's say Jimmy does start in week 1. I mean, Doc, you and I have talked about it. I don't think he's going to make it through the full season. So it's going to depend on who's behind him. And then what's your plan for 2022? So I think their futures are more tied to 2022 and beyond than they are to Jimmy G in 2021. That's just me.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair take. I mean, I have definitely heard a lot of the same type of thought process of Kyle probably being with the organization a lot longer than John. I think that's tough, though, because I think Kyle actually probably has a lot more power than John. Let's not forget that Kyle picked John. It wasn't the reverse. Like, there was one of the few times where the head coach actually picked the GM. Usually it's the opposite. You hire the GM contributes and shares who the head coach they want. But this time it was reverse. And I don't know, this is all speculation on my part, but just really from an outside point of view, I think Kyle tends to have the final say when it comes to who are we drafting, who's staying on the roster, right? But unfortunately, I think it is going to be John that pays the price if the team isn't successful. But at some point, Kyle does need to look in the mirror and ask himself, how am I also contributing to the challenges that we're facing, right? No offense, I like the guy, but like keeping Trent Taylor for so long, that dude has not made a major impact since 2017, I think. So, just little things like that. That's just one player I can go down the line, but I think Kyle does need to start stepping up his game beyond the offensive genius that he provides to the team. Because you're the head coach. You're not the offensive coordinator. You're the head coach.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. But I mean, how long would you give him? I mean, if let's say the Niners go 7-9 again, geez, I hope we don't, but let's say you go 7-9 again. And then the following year you go 8-8. I mean, is it like, okay, let's get rid of him time? Does it depend who the quarterback is? That's what I'm saying. I think there's a lot of variables.
Yeah. I think it depends on who the quarterback is.
Okay.
I think I am feeling that the San Francisco might draft a quarterback in the draft, whether it's the first round or the second round. So I think they're going to have someone that they're going to be grooming behind Jimmy G. And depending on who that guy is, I might feel differently. But for example, if it's like a Kyle Trask, that'll just completely continue to make me feel like Kyle does not know how to evaluate QBs, man, because there's a lot of really great talent there, whether it's Kellen Mond, or whether it's Mac Jones, whether it's Trey Lance, Justin Fields. Like, this is actually a really a deep QB draft class. So I need to see them bring in somebody behind in case Jimmy G struggles. Then we at least know what the future plan is.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah. I definitely just, I agree with what Will said. More worry about 2022 and beyond than 2021. So, it's all about the long run, not what's about to happen. So, if they draft a quarterback, hopefully it's one of those guys that Doc named. That'll be a solid backup. So
yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that today, but they said Gardner Minshew is someone the Niners are interested in as a backup. Again, as a backup, don't freak out, faithful. But it's just, and I don't know why, you see different people talking about, how that's a mistake and this and that. Same with Darnold. As a backup option, I don't see it as a mistake. You look at guys that have talent. They have more talent than Mullins. They have more talent than CJ, who just got signed by the Jaguars, by the way.
By the Jaguars.
But I'm sorry, they're better. And keep in mind, I like CJ. I did. I thought he had a strong arm, whatever. CJ just never developed athletically, just not strong enough, wasn't fast enough, quick enough, but he has a good arm. And I think that he can get the offense moving to where it needs to go. It's just for me, he's just not a dynamic enough athlete at the position. And that always hurt him. And it'll continue to hurt him until he gets in like ridiculous shape, if he ever does. So, whereas Minshew is a guy who he is more dynamic. He is quick. He can throw on the run. Doesn't have a big arm, but it's bigger than Mullins. I mean, Nick Mullins couldn't throw the ball beyond 15, 20 yards with any kind of velocity, right? I mean, it makes sense why some of these guys go undrafted. So when I hear people saying, don't get that guy, I mean, they're better than Flacco, who they brought in, to take a look at. It's just like, that guy is done. I'm sorry, he's done. I mean, he may get you a win here and there, but that's a backup. The thing for me is I wish we weren't talking about backups right now again, and we're going to talk about this. And I'm sure, down the line, once we get to our mock draft, which, we're going to get into that, more and more as we get closer to the draft. But, for me, we've already seen all we need to see. At least for me, I've seen what I need to see, from Jimmy and all these other guys. I want to move forward, but I agree with you, Doc. I think that 2021, unfortunately, is going to be one of those years where it's going to be another wait and see type of year. And we don't have that kind of patience, because we see, like, we were looking at what just happened and we're like, nah, I don't think it's going to work. It could work. We could be wrong. But the last 3 years tell me differently. Out of those 3 years, you had 1 year where the guy was healthy and we didn't win it. Let's be honest. We could have won it. We didn't. So we can't also live in a world where, but we made it to the Super Bowl. That's fantastic. But that's not why you play.
Yeah. So did the Buffalo Bills 4 times in a row.
Four times in a row.
Right. I mean, just ask that fan base if that's something that they reminisce on in a positive way. You know what I mean? It's not. Exactly. I mean, I still have nightmares about that loss to the Ravens, and now the loss to the Chiefs. I'm really looking forward to the day where I can have that dream of having seen us win a Lombardi, man, because it's been a long time coming now, from the Jerry Rice, Steve Young days to Joe Montana. It's about time that we bring back another one, man.
Yeah, 1994. You want to know how old I was in 1994? Well, we know Ronnie wasn't born.
Yeah, Ronnie wasn't born. Yeah.
1994. What's that, Ron?
I wasn't even thought of.
You weren't even thought of yet. Yeah. I know your parents were probably like in high school or college, right?
Yeah. I mean, might have been in high school. Exactly.
Yeah. So we were like, I would think I was 8 when that happened. So I remember these things, but I was a kid. I'm almost 35 years old. So, it's just one of those things where, like you're saying, Doc, it's time, and if you want to be considered a franchise, which I think we are, when you win 5 championships, I do think in a way we are a little bit soft in how much critique we give our sports team in the Bay. People think we're not, but on the East Coast, man, they're tearing these guys to shreds.
Alive.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
I mean, just ask Pablo Sandoval how it went over there with the Red Sox.
Oh man, Pablo couldn't get back here fast enough, right? So, I do think it's okay to be critical. Do I think it's okay to also, like, look, I'll celebrate as loudly as anybody when we win, but when we don't, I mean, we have to be critical, and it's been a while.
Yeah, and let me be the first to say, I will gladly admit when I'm wrong, right? Like if Jimmy G takes us to the Super Bowl and wins the Lombardi, like I will praise Jimmy G for the rest of life, right? Because he'll have brought exactly what I wanted, which is a world championship to the red and gold, but until then, I mean, how is he any different than let's say a Jeff Garcia, who was successful in his own right from time to time, but I mean, he wasn't going to win. I mean, he wasn't going to win at all. And he's a likable guy, right? Jimmy G's a likable guy, but I want to win, man. It's not about liking somebody anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So, you guys have heard what we've got to say. Again, make sure that you keep following us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, you guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you again.
See you, everybody.
Yeah, it's by the bag with the triple single crew. We got Ronnie, Doc, Antonio, the real deal too. They coming and dropping knowledge,